Hey there, you're listening to Vixen After Dark. I'm Ipsha Dutta, your host, your storyteller, and maybe your favorite midnight distraction. This is where ordinary meets eerie, where stories breathe in candlelight, and the city outside refuses to sleep. Vixen After Dark isn't just a podcast, it's an ongoing world. Every tale here lives inside the same shadows. Some stretch across nights, some whisper and disappear, but each one pulls you a little deeper into the dark. So think of this as a long midnight conversation, part fiction, part fear, and just enough truth to keep you wondering. Whether you're here for the thrill, the mystery, or just because sleep decided to ghost you tonight, welcome. I'm a writer, a night owl, and, as you'll soon find out, someone who spent way too much time talking to things that probably shouldn't talk back. But hey, I call it research. So pull your chair closer, keep the lights dim but not off, and if something flickers, maybe don't look just yet. Tonight's story comes from my own backyard, the sleepless city of Kolkata. Tonight, we begin a new story, a series I call Echoes of the One-Eyed Watcher, and it starts with a single call. The call at 3:07 a.m. You'd think living in a city like Kolkata would mean never getting a moment's peace. The kind of city that never truly sleeps, just changes its rhythm from the day's honking chaos to the night's muffled hum. But you would be wrong. You get plenty of peace here. It just doesn't come wrapped in silence. It comes with the sound of your neighbor's pressure cooker hissing like an irate banshee. The faint chorus of stray dogs arguing politics. And the distant echoes of someone's Bluetooth speaker still blasting festive music, even though Diwali ended a week ago. The city can't let go of its sparkle. Fairy lights still cling to balconies like stubborn memories, flickering in the late October humidity, reminding you that the line between festival and fatigue is as thin as the smog in the air. I live high above it all, on the 11th floor of a high-rise apartment complex inside one of those gated communities that look like miniature cities themselves. Rows of towers lying like sentinels, a man-made lake pretending to be picturesque, and a team of security guards who take their duties more seriously than some politicians do. The gates close at 10. Deliveries stop at 9, and someone's always tattling about who used the community gym barefoot. It's safe, predictable, and very proudly boring. A perfect cover for someone like me. At 33, I'm officially what the HR calls a remote associate, which is basically corporate code for a digital ghost chained to a laptop. I work for a massive multinational that thrives on jargons and coffee addictions. My life is a predictable cycle of deadlines, video calls, and passive-aggressive, gentle reminder emails. I like my job enough to pay the bills, but not enough to die doing it. Though some days it tries. My desk is littered with half-finished mugs of coffee, random notebooks, and one or two items I really hope never show up on a surprise background check. Things like an iron charm shaped like an eye, a vial of blessed ash, and an old silver coin edged with runes most people would mistake for doodles. Because, well, that's the other part of my life. See, there's a version of me my parents brag about. Responsible daughter, stable career, no criminal record, allegedly normal. Then there's the version they don't know exists. The one who carries salt sachets in her sling bag just in case. Who knows which alley in North Kolkata is still haunted by a British officer who hates traffic lights, and who once banished a particularly rude spirit from a co-worker's laptop. Long story. It started innocently enough. I joined a few ghost walks around the city, the kind of late-night tours where people snap selfies in cemeteries and pretend to see shapes in the fog. At first, I was just another curious participant, the quiet one hanging in the back, with a thermos of chai and too many questions. But curiosity turned into familiarity. I befriended the organizers, the local historians, the self-proclaimed mediums who ran those tours, and somewhere between one midnight walk and the next, I became part of their circle. Now, on weekends, I sometimes volunteer as a ghost walk guide myself, taking wide-eyed college kids, thrill-seeking couples, and the occasional skeptic through alleys that smell of incense and history. I've learned to read the signs in the old stones, to feel the temperature drop before the stories start whispering. The hosts consult me now and then on sigils, seals, and protective wards. In return, I borrow their folklore when my own research hits a wall. I'm not exactly an occult detective, but if something whispers when it shouldn't, chances are I will be there, flashlight in one hand and sarcasm in the other. My parents, of course, have no idea. They think my midnight habits are a side effect of creative burnout. They've seen the jars of salt, the sigils carved into candle wax, and the faint scorch marks on the balcony, and yet concluded that their unmarried daughter has taken up manifestation rituals. My mother even asked me once, while rolling rotis, if I could manifest a husband while I'm at it. I told her I tried, but the spirit said, connection unstable. She didn't laugh. My father did. Then he coughed awkwardly and went back to cricket.
Gone, dragged on, excellent length, a little bit of movement.
That's the rhythm of our family life. 1 part noise, 2 parts love, seasoned with nosy questions and a touch of denial. The night it all started, or rather the early morning, the city had settled into that strange lull between Diwali and Halloween, and the timing couldn't have been stranger. The office had just declared a surprise week-long break after the Diwali rush, a rare celestial alignment where HR, management, and workload all agreed to let us breathe. I promised myself I'd spend it catching up on sleep, cleaning my closet, and maybe pretending I had hobbies beyond banishing ghosts and answering Slack messages. But the city had other plans. Kolkata, still buzzing from the leftover glitter of Diwali, hummed like a living being that refused to rest. Fairy lights clinging stubbornly to balconies, the air thick with the aftertaste of fireworks, as if the celebrations had cracked something open and the world hadn't quite sealed it shut again. I was awake, squinting at an old spreadsheet I hadn't closed since Friday, that looked more cursed than calculated. I was not working, just judging the spreadsheet the way you judge an ex's Instagram post, when my phone buzzed beside me. Sweetu calling. The name glowed against the dark screen, and for a second, my brain didn't register it. Then my eyes flicked toward the clock. 3:07 a.m. Nobody calls at that hour unless something's either broken or haunted. I swiped to answer, yawning. Oh, you do realize this is officially witching hour, right? I charge extra for emergency exorcisms before sunrise. Her voice came through, trembling, every syllable quivering through static.
Ipsha, I think something's in my house.
That made me sit up straighter. Swetaleena Nayak, Sweetu to her friends, occasional chaos agent to her colleagues, wasn't prone to drama. She worked in the same company as I did, though in a different vertical, which meant our friendship was built mostly on late-night Slack rants and mutual despair over deadlines. Outside office hours, she freelanced as an architectural designer for both boutique firms and the occasional corporate client. The kind of side hustle that required equal parts precision and madness. She'd studied architecture in college, and it showed. Her sketchbooks were full of clean lines that somehow ended up haunted. Intricate drawings of staircases that spiraled into shadows or human figures that seemed to be waiting for someone to look away. She lived in Bhubaneswar, in a sunny apartment with her mother, younger sister, and grandmother. I'd never met them in person, of course, but I'd pieced together enough from our late-night calls to imagine the scene perfectly. A home that always smelled faintly of incense and pokhal bhat, where the evenings echoed with the clink of brass utensils and the gentle scolding of a grandmother who ruled with love and side-eye. Sweetu's was the kind of family that still believed in drawing alpona outside the door during Lakshmi Puja, who kept betel leaves and holy side by side, and who'd probably offer a ghost a plate of rice before chasing it away. "What do you mean, something?" I asked, forcing my voice to sound calm.
It's not a person. The lights keep flickering. And Kia's been staring at the balcony for an hour. She growls every few minutes. Grandma woke up saying someone touched her feet, but when I checked, no one was there. Now she's praying, and every time she says a god's name, the bulb dims.
A chill brushed the back of my neck. "Could be faulty wiring," I offered weakly.
I checked. It's not. And
She paused, voice catching.
Kia's meowing sound wrong.
Before I could respond, I heard it through the phone. A drawn-out, guttural, deeper than a cat's voice should ever go. It made my chest tighten, the way air feels before a storm. "Sweetu," I said slowly. "Listen carefully. Stay inside your room. Keep the lights on. Don't..."
Don't what?
She whispered. "Don't talk to it."
I wasn't planning to.
She snapped, and I could hear the edge of fear beneath her sarcasm. Then, a soft thud, a sharp inhale, and the line went dead. "Sweetu?" I said, staring at the screen. "Sweetu? Hello? Sweetu?" Nothing. For a moment, all I heard was my own heartbeat and the faint rustle of the curtains. The air in my room thickened, heavy with that unexplainable stillness that always means someone is listening. The Diwali lights still hanging from my balcony blinked once, twice, then steadied, as if pretending they hadn't. From my parents' room drifted a sleepy voice.
"Why are you up again, Rini? Don't tell me you're fighting ghosts on Teams now."
I sighed, shoving my laptop aside and dragging my overnight bag from under the bed. "Mom, it's just work," I said, reaching for my charger and pretending that the pile of talismans beside it doesn't exist. "Very urgent deliverables." She appeared at the doorway, draped in her shawl, hair slightly wild, the kind of look that said, "I may be half asleep, but I still see through your nonsense."
"Urgent? At 3 in the morning? You people have no HR or humanity."
I bent down, shoving a pouch of salt, 2 vials of holy ash, and a small brass charm into my side pocket. "It's an out-of-station issue. Needs hands-on troubleshooting." Her eyebrow arched so high it could have sliced clouds.
"Troubleshooting what exactly? The supernatural again?"
I paused, just a heartbeat too long. My hand froze over the holy ash. Mum smirked.
"Aha, thought so. Don't even try to deny it, Rini. The last time you went for work, our wall clock stopped for 2 days and started ticking the second you walked back in. Even the building's cat refused to come up to our floor."
"Coincidence?" I muttered, sliding my power bank next to a folded scarf.
"Coincidence, my foot,"
she said, stepping into the room.
"You call every haunting a coincidence until it starts demanding rent."
I zipped up the bag. I'll be fine, Mom. It's just Sweetu. She called. She's freaked out. I'll go, take a look, fix it, and be back before you can start another WhatsApp fasting movement for my marriage prospects. She folded her arms, lips twitching.
Sweetu, the one with the cat, right?
Yes, I said, checking my torch battery. Kia or Q, depends on the mood, I guess. The cat, not Sweetu.
She's a nice girl.
Mum said absently, watching me shove my notebook, wallet, and finally one packet of chocolate cookies into a side compartment.
You always attract the eccentric ones.
That's rich coming from you. I shot back, slipping into my jacket. You married Dad, remember? She laughed under her breath.
Touche.
Then, softer.
You and your hosts. Go then. Just be careful. And eat something. You get cranky when you deal with the dead on an empty stomach.
Already packed the mini samosas.
Of course.
She sighed.
Why bring holy water when you have fried food, right?
The fairy lights on the balcony flickered once more, as if reacting to her sarcasm. We both looked at them, strings of faint blue glimmering against the sleepy skyline, and for a second her expression softened.
See? Even the lights are wishing you luck.
Or warning me? I murmured. She stepped closer, fixing the stray strand of hair that had escaped my bun. Her eyes glinted, equal parts pride and worry.
Whatever it is, handle it and come back, all right? And remember, no matter what you face, don't try to exorcise your boss. HR won't cover that.
I grinned, slinging the bag over my shoulder. I'll try to restrain myself. She reached up, cupped my cheek briefly.
Good girl. Go save your Sweetu and her cat. And for heaven's sake, don't bring any ghosts back home this time. We are still paying EMI for this apartment.
That cracked me up. I hugged her, quick but firm. The kind of hug you pretend is casual so you don't have to admit how much you needed it. Love you, Mum.
Love you too, Rini,
she said softly. Then, as I turned to leave, she added,
And if you die of exhaustion again, I'm haunting you myself.
I smirked. You'd have to queue up for that one. Her laughter followed me down the hallway, faint but steady. The sound that always made even the darkest nights feel a little less haunted. Outside, the city waited in half-light. The corridors hummed with the quiet hum of air conditioners and sleeping lives. Downstairs, the gates of the complex stood tall and indifferent, their steel bars reflecting faint strings of leftover Diwali lights. The air smelled of smoke, damp earth, and something faintly electric, the aftertaste of fireworks and the whisper of something older. A lone auto rickshaw waited by the curb, its driver slumped against the seat, half asleep. The street lights buzzed lazily, haloed in mist. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Somewhere, far off, a temple bell rang once, sharp, distant, like a warning or a greeting. As I stepped out, I could feel it. That thin pull at the edge of perception, the way the world quiets before it opens its mouth to say something you don't want to hear. Halloween was only days away. The veil between worlds was thinning, and somewhere in Bhuvaneshwar, something had just whispered my name. You've been listening to Vixen After Dark. I'm Ipsha Dutta, and if you've made it this far into the dark with me, thank you for keeping the light on. If you liked what you heard, hit subscribe, share it with someone who loves a good midnight story, and tell me, what did you really think happened at 3:07 a.m.? New stories drop every other weekend. Until then, stay curious, stay awake, and stay in the shadows.